Oh, we gonna run it up this year. We getting to this money. Yeah. I'm getting to this paper. 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 I ain't worried about a later. I'm getting to this paper. 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 I ain't worried about a later. I'm getting to this paper. 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 I ain't worried about a later. Let's go. Oh, we gonna run it up this year. We getting to this money. Yeah. I'm getting to this paper. 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 I ain't worried about it later. I'm getting to this paper. 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 I ain't worried about it later. I'm getting to this paper. 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 I ain't worried about it later.
Wow. Where do I start, man? I saw death at an early age, man. My sister OD'd off of heroin. My brother blew his brains out playing Russian roulette. You know, I saw that with my own eyes, so that kind of, you know, blew me away for a minute. I ain't know what to do. So my parents got scared for me, man, because they knew I had seen some stuff I shouldn't have seen, which is death at an early age. And they sent me to Louisville, Kentucky to live with my grandparents. You know, I went to a little military academy down there, and high school, played a lot of basketball, ran track. I'm all around sportsman, man, football, baseball, everything. So they sent me down there, man, got me out the way. And next thing you know, man, I'm down there about 9 or 10 months, man. They catch me at Value City. I stole some Mexican jumping beans so I could take them home, pour some water on them, they start popping up. My grandmother got wind of that, man, sent me back to Philly on the first thing smoking. And from there, I came Notorious Tom E Kash.
Bring me to that moment, because like when you make a decision to steal, you know, you say your family too, like on your mom's side, they was a little off the chain.
All my uncles, man, on my mom's side, man. My father's side, man, they ain't never get into nothing, man. They always legitimate people with great jobs, man, and they gave me the best in life. My mom's side was a little dark. They had a dark past, man. She had like 10 brothers, 10 sisters. They was born in Savannah, you know, down in Florida. And I don't know, man, they was crazy country people, man. I got one uncle, he was on death row. I got one uncle, strangled his wife. He had a life sentence. I got another uncle, Frank. I got Uncle Gene. They was killing people, man. One of my uncles was, you know, messing with a lot of guys' wives and stuff like that. Dude snuck in his house while he was in a dead sleep and beat him to death with a hammer. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's in my bloodline, this, you know, little streak of criminality I had, man, flowing through my blood for years, man. And I got so deeply embedded in the game, I thought it wasn't no way out and you had to die a criminal, man. I ain't know it was no other way. I ain't was raised to be a police officer. I ain't was thinking about being a judge. I ain't think about flying a plane as a pilot, none of that, man. It was the game for me at an early age, man. And that's because I went to Kentucky and I stole them beans, and when I got back to Philly, I ran into my team and we started building from there.
I mean, you know, that definitely hearing about your brother, you know, that's a traumatic experience, man. Can you bring me to that time? Like, just, was this the first, I imagine it's the first time you've even seen death, anything, and like.
It's the first time I seen death. My brother, I was in school, Our Mother's Sorrows, that's at 47 for Wyalusing. It's a masjid across the street called Sister Clara Muhammad. So I'm in school, learning my lessons, and a good friend of mine named Brace is dead now, you know. Brace was a machine gun carrying dude, man, and you know, his days of shooting niggas caught up with him, and he got shot and killed. And I had just left him 5 minutes ago. I told him to go in the house and chill, And I went in the house and chilled. He stayed out, and I heard the gunshots. Next day, I had 2 bullet holes in my Cadillac. I had a sedan DeVille at the time. There was 2 bullet holes in that from where he got shot. But anyway, Brace came to the school and got me. He said, man, you need to rush home. Your brother's been shot, man. So I ain't cry. I ain't do nothing like that. I left the school. I didn't ask to leave. I left. And I walked home, walked around the way, and on 50th and Ogden, right around this corner right here, I walked up and saw my brother on the ground. His eyes was blinking, and he was staring into space, and he had a hole in his head the size of a pinball. And that's the first time I saw death.
And, you know, and allegedly they say it was from a game of Russian roulette.
Allegedly they say it was from a gang of Russian roulette, but 6 or 7 of his best friends was in the house, and all of them met an untimely demise, man. All of them met an untimely. One of them 40 years in the jail for robbing armored trucks and banks. One of them crashed his moped into a car, flew off the moped, and smashed his face into a tree. One of them crazy, man, from somebody slipping them a Mickey. The other one out here crazy, smoking crack for 30 years, man. You know, something vicious happened to each one of them, and I believe in karma. If you do dirt, you're going to get dirt.
So you don't believe your brother actually...
I don't believe my brother killed himself, man. We wasn't raised like that. Before my brother shot himself or whatever happened to him, I didn't even know my father had a gun in his closet. My brother snuck the gun out my father's house, took it to his homie house, and they was playing with it in the house. I don't know what happened, man, but like I said, all of them met an untimely demise. I believe in karma, and I believe what goes around come around. And what came around for them was danger.
Of course, you love your brother. Like, I mean, I imagine y'all was close.
Love my brother, man. He was older than me, man. Billy, man. He was all around sportsman, and the girls loved him.
I mean,
he was a smooth cat.
And how old do you think you were about? Because you what, this elementary school?
Yeah, I was about 9.
Yeah, you just like.
So my brother had to be about. Back then, you could go into service early. So he was about 16, 17. On a pass from the Marines. He just came from Paris Island in the Bahamas. He was supposed to leave and go back in a week, and he died within that week.
So, I mean, obviously looking back, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20. You feel like that, I mean, of course it had an effect on you. It's impossible for it not to have an effect on you. But could you thinking back, could you actually see a change in your behavior once that happened?
Indeed, I could. I could see a change because at a young age, and I wasn't using profanity or nothing. I haven't even heard the F word at that time. But my mentality was F it, F everything. My brother's dead, you know, so I was kind of rebellious then. I went and did my thing, man. I ain't want to hear nothing at a young age.
I mean, do you think that's what's going on with some of the youth today? Like, just so much, like where we at today with, like, you know, something just occur? Like, do you think it's so much going on within the community that it sets us in that mindset? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's tragedy that kind of shapes our reality to where we at? Just looking at the youth, comparing it to your life, what happened with you?
I can't compare my youth with the youth of today. It was totally different. No murders. Everybody in the water plug. We eating hot dogs on Saturday. Carnivals, Blue Sky soda, peanut chews, chasing girls down the street, touching them on their behind because we would dare have sex with them. You wasn't sleeping with no girls, man, in 76 and 77. They wasn't going for it, let alone their mom or their dad. No, so the youth today can't be compared to us. There was nothing like us. We had, I don't know, man. I don't know what's in the water right now that these niggas drinking in 2021 that's making each other blow each other's brains out. I don't know what's going on with this murder rate in Philly right now. It's 321. 321 murders, man, and we only in July, man. The end of July. This is insanity, man, but I can't explain it.
I mean, but aren't the youth just a product of the generations that came before them, like, and the choices that they made?
I disagree with that totally because then I would have to say that I learned from the guys that was before me, but they never taught me anything. The guys that you call old heads that I grew up with, they never taught me good, and they never taught me evil. They never taught me nothing. They never taught me how to fight. They never taught me sports. They didn't say anything except, you a money getting little nigga, get money, nigga. I see you shining, nigga, get money. You got $5, I need a bag of dope. That's the life I grew up with. They ain't say, yo, go to school. Yo, don't steal that. Yo, don't pick up a gun. Yo, be a police officer. Yo, be a fireman. No, my old head was in a jail doing 25 to 50 for sticking up supermarkets and killing cops.
We got a picture you here. You actually, you know, you won, what was it, Pimp of the Year in this one?
Yeah, man. You know, I was at that, man, at a young age, man. That little young girl happens to be my little niece, man, Tyra. She's strung out right now on drugs. But I love her to death. That's my niece. But, yeah, I won that Pimp of the Year, man. They gave me a trophy, man. I was best dressed, had a derby on, silk shirt, silk scarf. And my little niece was gorgeous. So, yeah, we won that, man. I remember.
So around that time, like, you know, pimping, getting money, you know, was just like, what, like late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, I wasn't really pimping, man. I ain't had no girl selling nothing. I was too young to actually be on the stroll, but...
Well, no, but you know, a pimp was respected. Like, you respected the pimp lifestyle.
Right. I saw what I saw Superfly, man.
Okay.
I saw what I saw in the Mac and Black Caesar. Those type movies, man. Penitentiary, Sonny Carson. Those type movies, man. They glorified pimping. They glorified the black man, not beating a woman all the time, because that's a gorilla pimp. And I never gorilla pimp. I pimped on another level. See, my pimping was, I'm going to a methadone clinic and get me a white girl. And then I'm going to get me some credit cards out somebody's wallet. And I'm going to dress this white girl up after she go to the Blue Moon Hotel and take a shower in the bath. I'm going to get her some Monet jewelry. And I'm going to put that credit card in her hand. I'm going to say, look, girl, go in that store and buy whatever I tell you. Bring it out and I'm going to sell it. And if I make $100, you get 15. That was how I was pimping. I ain't dare tell a girl, go sell your body and bring me the money. I was on a whole nother level of pimping, and everybody that I rode with was on that level of pimping. We ain't never make no girl sell they private parts.
I mean, but, you know, through that time, just getting into the money, you know, you actually did your first prison stint around 1986.
Yeah. At that time, I had a little baby girl named Tanita by my baby mom, Tanya. And, you know, I'm a young kid, man. I think I'm 18 or 19. So one day I'm going around Tanya's house, man, to see my baby daughter, and Tanya upstairs and a baby in the crib. So I go in the room with Tanya, and I never forget this, the day of my life. We watching Cops. And all of a sudden, I hear freeze, everybody on the floor. Get down. But I swear to God, I'm thinking it's the TV. I guess I was smoking that weed at the time, so I'm thinking it's a TV show. Next thing you know, the door burst open. 4 cops busting. It's a raid. They throw me on the ground. I never forget it, man. I got Fila sneaks on. I got a Coogee sweater. I got jewelry on, and I got Gucci glasses. And I'm over there. I got a bankroll in my pocket because I done stole about 50 movies from Sam Goody's VCR tapes. And that time we was getting $10 a tape at the bars up 52nd and Market, like Neats and like Black Butterfly. And Cozy's and all them other bars was open. $10 a tape is good money for a 19-year-old or 18-year-old kid, because if I took 50 movies, I made $500. So that's letting you know, in 1982, I was making $500. My mother wasn't making that at the time. So anyway, they run in the crib, kick the door down, make a long story short. Dizzy Mack, my homie, he went to jail. Now he home, he doing great. He live in Florida now. But Dizzy Mack was working for these boys named Brock White and them around my way. Brock dead, you know. All I heard the police say is jackpot. They come out the room. He got 7 ounces of crack cocaine and a .32 automatic weapon. He asked, who's the oldest? I said, me. He looked on the table. He saw a piece of mail. He looked at the name and said, who's Sherry Ford? She said, me. He said, you got access to this house because you got mail coming here. You under arrest. And big man, you under arrest. because you the oldest. Took me to jail. 10 days I had a preliminary hearing. Everything was dropped on Sherry Ford. I bit the whole case and went to Holmesburg.
Now, there was a situation where you could have did things differently. You could have got yourself out of that situation, right? Think so? I mean, you think that, I mean, because if everything was dropped on her, like, I mean, was it all yours?
Nothing was mine.
Nothing.
I just wouldn't talk. I wasn't, I mean, I ain't know about snitching and none of that back then. All I knew is I'm a get money nigga, and if the police grab me, don't say nothing. Ain't nobody never, it wasn't no stop snitching back there. It wasn't none of that. This 1982, wasn't nobody screaming stop snitching. So I just shut my mouth and went to jail. And I went to one of the roughest camps in the city of Philadelphia, which is Holmesburg Prison in the 80s.
So what was that like, man? Like Holmesburg Prison, like, and I know it was a while ago, but just thinking back to the prison life in Holmesburg, that first time, like, bring me back to that moment when you first pretty much just like, you know what, I'm about to go to prison. Tell me that feeling.
Man, it's nothing like it. It's horrendous, it's horrific, and it's something that I don't wish on anybody. I'd never forget it, and like you said, it's a long time ago. But guess what? I remember it like it was yesterday. Like a movie I'm watching.
I mean, take me to that moment, man. I mean, was you scared? Like, I mean, what you...
No, because I ain't know what I was facing. I ain't know niggas was getting stabbed to death in Holmesburg. I ain't know young boys my age was getting raped. I ain't know niggas was getting life sentences. I ain't know Holmesburg had an F-rear with death row inmates back there. No, I ain't know I was going to be in the yard with Nicky Scarfo. I ain't know I was going to be with Marty Graham and Gary Heidnick and the Mud Man, all these vicious criminals. And I'm 19 years old and they in their 30s and 40s. But guess what? I had the time of my life, because back then, jail was sweet as pumpkin pie. You just do the time, you ain't thinking about it, you playing cards. I'm eating egg sandwiches off the radiator because they in a Nike box. You put the egg and sausage sandwich on the radiator because it kept it hot. It melted the cheese. And they washed you like a hawk. If you try to steal one of them sandwiches, they'll kill you, because the kitchen workers had them sandwiches put there and they would sell them. And they was called swag sandwiches on the block. I was on B block at Holmesburg and I met some, I said Nicky Scarfo, he's the boss of Philadelphia. He was the mob boss of Philadelphia. I met Joey Molino's father, Chucky Molino. I met Faffy Iannarella. I met the Grandi brothers. I met a lot of mob figures at this time, and they was running the whole city of Philly. And I was walking the yard talking to him like he was my grandfather.
So pretty much doing prison, man, you say it wasn't as bad for you, but you ended up doing about 18 months around that time.
Yeah, I did 18 months, man. I had a detainer from Delaware County for probation violation, so I couldn't make bail. So I had to sit the whole 18 months. The boys who coke it was and who gun it was, I finally found out. They got me a lawyer. His name was Vince LaRusso. I sat 18 months in prison. I swear to God, I was in court 15 minutes and found not guilty and left out that courtroom so fast, I was wondering why I was even locked up.
I mean, so around this time, I mean, you know, you weren't going back to school, I imagine.
No, I wasn't going back to school. I was outlawed by then. And outlaw means I'm getting money by any means necessary. I was an outlaw. And the first thing we started doing was we needed a set of wheels, because we knew we had to go on the highway and get some money. We was young diamond thieves. We were stealing Rolexes, because at that time, Basco and Best, those stores had Rolexes. So well, we got wise to the game. We would go in the store and ask the man to see a watch. And the man would pick a key off the counter and open the case and show you the watch you wanted. Now he'll put the watch back and put the key back where it was. I'll distract him and I'll steal the key. And guess what? I hit every store in Philly that key can fit. And every store in Philly with that same lock that man put that watch back in, I can open it up. So we would go around state to state and creep jewelry. It's called creeping.
So this was pretty much your profession. You became like a professional jewel thief.
Yo, you could say that.
I mean, what like, take me to a time, like, what do you think was the biggest haul that you might have actually bought in?
220,000. I knocked a casino in Atlantic City. I'm not going to say the casino, but I knocked a casino in Atlantic City. Me, Fox, and Edna. Fox is my man, and Edna was a girl who I liked, but I never really got with Edna, but she had a crush on me. Edna was about 18 or 19, and she was real fly. She always wore full-length mink coats at that time. We had Gucci sneaks, $155s, because that's what Gucci's cost at the time, $155. So we called them $155, and we got them from Caesar's Palace in Atlantic City. So make a long story short, I had a slant back Seville, and I went and got Fox and Edna, and we rode over AC, and they distracted the man in a casino, in a jewelry store, and I had the key, and they took him to the back while I went to the front. I turned around, I looked to see if I was safe one time, and opened the case. Put the key back in my pocket. I turned around again, and saw I was safe, and slid the window, and I took 9 watches out the case. I didn't know what type watches these was, but I stole them and put them in the sleeve of my jacket. I locked the case back, wiped my fingerprints off, and walked out the store. When I got outside and got to my Cadillac, I was waiting for them to catch up with me. They finally caught up, and I pulled out one watch, and there was a Patek Philippe that Jay-Z's wearing now. So Jay-Z and them ain't had shit on me. I had a Patek Philippe and a Piaget in 1980s. They wearing that shit now. I wasn't wearing it, but I stole it and sold it.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, what is jewelry? I mean, how would you sell this jewelry? Like, what would you do with it? Like, what was the game?
Well, I used to go down Center City, and back in the 80s, like today, the cases didn't have locks on them. So you could go in the store and actually slide the case yourself and get out what you want. So I would go downtown, slide them cases after I distract the man, or get one of my girls to distract the man, take what I want, and cash it in. And one time, one of the owners of the store caught me. He said, hey, come here, man. What you doing? And I got smart with him and cussed him out. He took his jewelry back from me, and he said, don't steal shit from me. Steal from other people and bring it to me, and I'll buy it. So he became my fence. And the fence is anybody who buys stolen shit off you every day.
Damn, so this became, that was the name of the game. That was the business.
That was the name of the game. That was the business. And all my fences, except one, are alive today. And we talking about 30 years ago. One fence got killed, Russian, named Abba. People remember Abba. He was very famous. His Rolex cost about $15,000, and he had a solitary on his pinky that cost about $6,500. They found Abba dead in his Lexus on the Ben Franklin Bridge. They said the Russians killed him for something. That's too deep for me. Them Russians is treacherous. But all my life, I dealt with Orientals. I dealt with Israelis. I dealt with Russians. They were my fences.
So around this time, you know, he ran into another tragedy. I mean, was your mother and father still around this time, or did you, were they still around?
Yeah, my mom and father was around. They always was there, man. Supported me anytime I went to jail. I lived like a king in jail. Color television, 600-700 on my books, eating like a king, a visit every weekend. None I didn't want for nothing. I had a great family and a great upbringing, like a Brady Bunch family. A black Brady Bunch. You could call me a nigga Huxtable, because my folks had good jobs. My mom was a registered nurse and an LPN, and my dad worked for Cornwall Heights, juvenile prison. I got anything I want. I shopped at Boyd's every day. I had alligator shoes, and I went to Catholic school. What more can you ask for?
Now, thinking back, do you think you were, like, spoiled? Would you use that word for yourself?
Damn right I was spoiled. And let me tell you, that's a gift and a curse. Because guess what? And I'm going to tell you, Infantine, because you got a beautiful daughter. Do not spoil your daughter so much, because once my family couldn't spoil me anymore, I wasn't spoiled myself by any means necessary.
So around this time, man, I know you actually mentioned your sister, and, she overdosed.
Yeah.
Bring me to that time.
My sister's name was Gigi. They called her Gigi Slim. She was too real skinny, man. And she kind of the first person put me on Islam, because she used to have books sitting around, How to Eat to Live and Message to the Black Man. These was booked by Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali. They was, from the first resurrection at this time. And I ain't know, too much about Islam, but she used to say Salaam Alaikum and, stuff like that, and Shukran, thank you. I didn't know what she was talking about, but I believe my sister was Muslim because of the books she had and because of the people she hung around on a daily basis. But I found my sister with a needle in her arm in this house on the 3rd floor because that was where our room was. And I just, how you got a sister. Yo, what you doing? Girl, she my older sister, but one day I just shot up there and snuck in her room. And she was out cold with that needle in her arm. And that's my first experience with heroin.
So thinking about your mother and father, they were both around for this.
Both around for this.
Have you seen a change in them? Like, they've lost 2 children now, like tragically.
It hurt inside. You could tell they was hurting inside, but they covered it up for the strength of the family. And they kept going. And they kept going. And they never complained. And if they cried, they didn't show me a tear. And they gave me everything I wanted. And I was the type of dude that's playing in the schoolyard. And my mama come in the backyard and ring a bell because it's dinner time. You come eat or you're not going to eat. And then she'll ring a bell again 2 hours later and say it's time to bring your ass in the house because the sun set. That's the type of family I had. And my dad was at work and my mom would be home. Any pain they felt, they kept it deeply embedded inside them.
Do you think, was your dad at work a lot?
At work every day, a lot.
Do you feel like he may have worked too much to be around? Like, do you think like some of these things was his presence felt in the home, you feel like, or you think it was just...
His presence was felt in the home daily. My mom worked, but when she came home, she washed clothes, she washed dishes, she cooked dinner. My dad would work, but when he came home, he went to another job, a little side hustle, and he would sit down and do the bills at the table. I remember that, write the checks to pay all the bills. So on Saturday and Sunday, they was home. Monday through Friday, they was at work. They both had cars. So they would do their thing all week and chill with us on the weekend. I used to go to Lawnside, New Jersey for ribs and corn. They the type people. Used to go to Wildwood. They used to take me to Coney Island. They used to travel and give you anything you wanted. Cotton candy, salt water taffy, pizza. They was good people, man. They was good people. And they raised me good. I just went astray.
Yeah, and this is deep. And I keep thinking about today's youth where they always say, oh, where the parents at? Where the parents at? And some people come from good upbringings, it's not everybody's, so how does a good, hardworking family somehow produce, is it the community? Is it the television? Is it the movies that we like? Where does the bad influence creep its way in, you believe?
There wasn't no movies out when I started getting money. I'm talking about to hype you up to go get some money. Scarface ain't come out till 1984, between 1984 and 1986. So that's when the drugs really start popping off. But I was a young buck getting this money, so there wasn't no movies out except The Thief with James Caan. He was a diamond thief, and we was hype over that. But people, places, and things really are detrimental to somebody that's trying to build something, build a foundation. You got to stop hanging with certain people. You got to stop being in certain places, and you got to stay away from certain things.
How do you think it's possible to do that? Like, how do you, what is it, mentorship? Like, how do we get a hold? Like, what's the key, you think? Like, what do you think could have changed you at a young age? Like, do you think anybody had the type of power to be able to say, listen, man, like, that ain't the move? What do you think is...
Man, I wish somebody would have came through and told me that ain't the move. My life might have went in a different direction. As I said, I played baseball, basketball, and football. I was really good at it, man, and had trophies and awards for it and things like that. And I ran track, and I ran the pin relay. I did some stuff, man, but it ain't your family all the time, man. It ain't about bringing up yourself or being raised in the projects. It ain't about living like J.J. Evans in Florida and going good times. You could live in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, in a beautiful home with grass, a dog, and a picket white fence, and end up doing 15 years in a state penitentiary. It all depends on your mentality, who you're hanging around, what they're doing and what you're doing. What people do sometimes inspires you if you're not a leader at the time. At that time, I wasn't a leader. I had to become a leader. I was a follower. So I followed my mans and them to take these credit cards. I followed them to shoplift at a store. I followed people. And then when I got good at it, I became the leader.
And you had a lot of things going on with the credit cards. Like, tell me about that. Take me there.
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on with the credit cards, man. As I said, I would make those girls go in the stores for me, man, and pay them good.
I mean, how did you come across the credit cards?
I'm
like,
a master pickpocket.
So
and when I say master pickpocket, let's say I go in a restaurant. Let's say TGI Fridays. That was one of our favorite places. And we would go state to state just to go to a TGI Fridays. And we will sit back to back with the people, meaning the chair I sit in is somebody behind me sitting facing the other way. So I'll hang my jacket on the chair. I'll go underneath my jacket or go in the sleeve of my jacket because the lady's pocketbook is hanging off of her chair. I'll just lay my hand down and let it flow down, and I'll feel inside of her purse. My hand is under her coat so nobody can see it. Her coat's on the chair and her purse is under the coat. So I'm feeling inside, I feel her wallet, I retrieve the wallet and put it on my lap. I open it up, I get the zip code, and I take 2 or 3 cards and pass them to the girl that's with me. Put the wallet back in the pocketbook, hang it back on the chair, we wait 15, 20 minutes, eat an appetizer, and go.
How many times do you think you've done that same routine? Roughly.
40 or 50,000.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. You say you did that same technique 40 or 50,000 times. Like, you're not even you think you exaggerating?
I started at 16.
Yeah.
I'm 54 now. I was in somebody's wallet 5 years ago. So from 16 to 50. Every day. In different states. I'll be in Maryland, Bethesda, Silver Springs. I'll be in Virginia. I'll be in Paramus, New Jersey. I'll be in Piscataway. I'll be in New Brunswick. I'm going to find a restaurant with some white people lunching, take their credit cards, go to the mall and buy anything I want. So I kept Polo on. I kept Givenchy on. I kept Lagerfeld on. I kept Yves Saint Laurent on. I was wearing that in the 80s. They wearing it now, but me and my team had that shit on in the 80s. And if you look at my pictures, you could tell.
I mean, just roughly, right? And it just throw me a number here. I mean, from the jewels, from the credit cards, I mean, everything. How much money do you think you actually just came across? And for you personally, just what you may have.
In my lifetime?
And you just tally it up.
I say 2.5 million. That's just me.
Yeah.
So I got homies that he might have stole 2.5 million. Then I got another homie, he might have stole $1 million. And I got another homie, he might have stole 3 million. You got to understand, some of my homies, they escalated their game to violence. So they would go in the store with a gun and a hammer, aim the gun at the people, not intending to shoot them, but just scare them so they could hit the dirt, take the hammer and smash the glass, and they get 15 or 20 Rolexes. So if you're getting 10 grand a Rolex and you got 15, how much you got?
Yeah, so, you said you rode around with a lot of cannons, man. And, people use this terminology cannon, right? And I think it gets translated differently today. What is a cannon?
A cannon is a shooting artist. A shooting is a person, a shooting is an act of a person going into a person's pockets at the same time while a partner of his is holding the man in a full Nelson. You shoot in his pockets. That's cannoning his pockets. Grab any contents of his pockets, wallet, money, and come out ready. The one with the full Nelson will push him away and we'll get away together. Run down the block 2 or 3 blocks, see what we got. $500, $600, $200, whatever you came up with.
Now, of course, stealing, we always say, well, stealing is wrong. Was there anything in your conscience? Did you feel bad? Were you oh man, I got to stop? Did you ever say to yourself, you're going to stop doing this? Or were you so caught up in it that it just seemed it was natural to you?
It's natural.
I
didn't regret nothing.
So there was no times when you just like sat in a room and was like, you know what, I got to stop stealing this way.
Not at that age.
I mean, because it took you back to prison again, didn't it?
Time and time again. 30 years in and out of prison. 30 days here, 2 years here, 18 months there, 90 days here, 30 days again. 2006, I did the big one, 100 months straight, 7.5 years. That was for 400 counts of identity theft from Chester County to Montgomery County to Delaware County, Philadelphia. And then I had to be extradited to the state of New Jersey because New Brunswick wanted me, Trenton wanted me, a couple other people wanted me. So once I finished up my time in PA, I had to get extradited to New Jersey. Then I had to get extradited to Delaware for some jewelry crimes over there, but Delaware dropped the charges.
I mean, 400 counts. How did it get to a place where it was 400 counts? How did they?
If you go in the store right now, you use a credit card, that's 1 count. Now you go to McDonald's and use it to buy some food, that's 2 counts. Now you go to Pep Boys to buy some brakes, that's 3 counts. Whatever store you use a credit card in, that's a count of forgery. And I went state to state, city to city, and kept using it.
How do you think they tracked you down where you were the one that got these 400 counts? Like, how do you think it all tied in to pin all those 400 counts to you?
Well, nobody never told on me. They followed me. They followed me state to state because I used to rent cars from Enterprise. I would never do nothing with my own car. Back in the day, we used to go to a rental place, like you go downtown to those car lots where you park your cars if you're going to eat in a restaurant or wherever you park your car. And we used to sneak in the booth, steal the keys off the wall, walk around the parking lot, and push the button for the alarm system. When we saw the car, we'd get in and steal the car, go commit a robbery with it, park the car somewhere else.
So this was from about 2006. Say you did 100 months, and then all the way till about maybe 2013.
Yeah,
you set that long.
I went to Chester County in 2006. I came home from Southwood Prison in 2013.
Now that's heavy.
They call it a world tour.
World tour.
You're on the world tour because you're going from prison to prison to county to county to jail like that.
So, I mean, when you did some of these prison stints, did you say to yourself, man, I'm never doing that again?
Hell no, I couldn't wait to get out to do it again. I ain't learned till late in life, man. I ain't learned till late in life that I don't want nobody to take my credit card. I don't want nobody to shoot in on me. I don't want nobody to can in my pockets. I don't want nobody to use my checkbook. I wouldn't like that. So later in life, man, when I start seeking out religion and trying to be, you know, obedient to Allah, who I worship, that's when I start feeling remorse. That's when I start feeling sorrow. When I start reading the Quran, when I start reading the books of Hadith, when I start getting warnings from the scholars about, you know, living a righteous life. That's when I start repenting. That's when I start giving back. That's when I start helping people. That's when I start feeding the poor. That's when I started doing deeds that I believe was righteous. And you hear what I said, that I believe was righteous, because only Allah can accept the righteous deed, and only He determines if the deed is righteous.
So do you feel like you got heavier into Islam when that 100th month, when you had to really sit for that amount of time, and you had to really just buckle in? Because really you haven't really been in any trouble after that, of the 100 months.
No, I buckled down up there, man, in that Mahanoy State Prison in Frackville, Pennsylvania, man. Once you get behind the walls, man, and you got a number, see, they give you paperwork, man, and it tells you the day you coming in and the day you leaving. Then you strive to get to that date that you can leave. And the only thing to do is be obedient in them prisons, man, and they gonna let you out. Some dudes fake it just to get out, but some dudes in reality, they living their life correctly now. They giving the game up. They don't want no more trouble, so they become righteous, man, and they get out and live their lives correctly. No more trouble.
All right, I'm gonna show a picture right here. Who is this?
That's Imam Hanish. He was the Islamic coordinator and imam in Mahanoy State Prison, where I did 5 years, pardon me, before I was extradited to New Jersey. He ran all the religious functions for the Muslims in the prison. He's been there years, and I learned the Arabic language from him. He's from Libya. He's a good man. He really, you know, goes above and beyond for the prisoners who try to do right. And he even came to West Philly from that area. He lives in that area to attend a funeral prayer, a janazah prayer for one of the Muslims that died in the prison from Philadelphia.
So Islam definitely had a great positive influence on your life today and where you are today. Do you think that's what's missing from the current generation? Do we need to focus more on religion or on Islam? Do you think that's the key?
I think the key is for everybody to focus on a deity they believe in. I believe in Allah. I believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I believe in the Sahaba, the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. That means may peace and blessings be upon them all. But everybody's not going to choose Islam. But I believe that religion will soothe a person's heart. It will change a person's actions. It will change a person's speech. It will correct them. I believe Islam to be the correct religion for me to follow. But of course, I'm going to have doubters. I'm going to have naysayers, and I'm going to have haters who say they're Christian, they're Jew, they're Buddhist, they're Wiccan. It's all kind of religions. But somebody, a true being should be worshipped and submitted to in order for a person to live a righteous life and do better. I believe that.
You came across the book that really had a positive effect on you. What book was that?
There was a book called Cooked by Chef Jeff Henderson. He's a drug dealer from Compton, California, who got a 10-year sentence in the federal institution. And his focus was cooking. In the prison, he became a cook, and he sold a lot of food in the prison. And his food got real popular. So one of his friends advised him when he got out that he should pursue cooking. So he laughed at him, and, you know, he still kept cooking the sweet potato pies. He kept cooking the fried chicken, and the inmates loved it. But when he was about to go home, he wrote a letter to about 6 or 7 restaurants trying to get a dishwasher job to go home and pursue culinary. One guy contacted him back. He went home, and he worked for this man in the kitchen as a dishwasher, but at the same time, he stole the culinary game from him. He watched him make sauces. He watched his knife work. He watched him season herbs and spices. He just, you know, learned from seeing what this man did. And make a long story short, he delved deep into the culinary world until Oprah Winfrey tasted his mac and cheese. And once she did that, he became Chef Jeff, author of 3-4 books, Chef Jeff, executive chef of the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas with a $150,000 yearly salary. He became Chef Jeff, motivational speaker against cocaine, against crime, and he's helping the children. So when I saw that he could change a criminal like me, I thought I could change. And I said, I'm going to push for change.
And you went in the direction of culinary.
I went in the direction of culinary. I got married when I got out of prison in 2013. I got married in 2014 to my beautiful ex-wife, Yasmin, and she had went to a nursing school called Star Academy, which also had a culinary class, and she spoke with one of the chefs from her old nursing school and got me in there a week later, and a year and a half later, I graduated with a 4.0 average.
Wow. I mean, clearly you an intelligent brother. Like, you know, when it didn't take you long to really understand the art of culinary, huh?
Not at all.
I mean, I imagine you cooked a little bit in prison or what?
Of course. I started in prison like Chef Jeff. I started in prison and I got the incentive to cook from a gentleman who ran the kitchen in prison, Mr. Smith. And Mr. Smith told me to get my Serve Safe. And Serve Safe is a test that you have to take, which teaches you protection of food and all utensils in the kitchen. And you have to have this so that you can know how to cook food to the right temperature. So you can know, don't throw a knife in the sink and stick your hand in soapy water, because you'll cut yourself. A lot of people don't know small things like this. You know, you have to put fish on the bottom shelf and fruit on the top. A lot of people will put fish on the top and fruit on the bottom, and the fish will drip after a few days, hit the fruit, and contaminate the fruit. And this will cause a foodborne illness and get 15 or 30 people sick. This is what ServSafe is for. So you can learn food safety and equipment safety throughout the kitchen.
And you developed a real passion for it, huh?
I developed a real passion. I work for GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals. I work for Marriott. I work for Hilton. I work for Ritz-Carlton. I work for Sofitel. I've been all around now. Then I ran some restaurants in Old City, Sassafras, Serrano, and the 10 Angels. Shout out to my old head, Donald McCoy. The Irish guys down there always give me a shot, you know. And I did some African cooking. I got a degree in international cuisine, so I could bounce around a little bit. Swedish on Wednesday, Mexican on Tuesday, Italian on Saturday.
Wow, I mean, this is amazing. So you definitely get different. We see here, you actually learned how to make sushi.
Yeah, I learned from Chef Yakamoto the art of sushi. Only thing I do is cook my fish instead of give it up raw. Because I like sushi, but I'm not going to eat raw fish. So I cook my fish, I wrap it, and then I eat it.
And you say Donald McCoy, he was one of the first people to give you a chef job.
He gave me a chef job. I was working at Cuba Libre, doing an externship in order to graduate, and I was out back one day listening to my my phone, and he came up and he said, no, he didn't come up. Matthew Daggett came up, which is the chef that ran the restaurant for Donald McCoy. And he said, excuse me, man, you a chef? I said, no, I'm not a chef, I'm a student. He said, well, my dishwasher quit and my other guy is sick. Can you come in this restaurant and help me? I said, help you do what? Serve this food. I said, I really never worked. I don't care. Can you help me? I'm paying $12 an hour and I'll pay you cash tonight. Then my eyes lit up, cash tonight. So I went in this restaurant not knowing nothing about the kitchen, and I served 65 people, just me and him. And from there, my life skyrocketed as far as culinary.
It's amazing, man. And then take a look at this burger right here. You actually won. You had burger, what is this, the best burger, huh?
Yeah, I won Best Burger 2015, man. It just so happened my boss asked me to cook him something to eat. And I said, what you want? He said, a burger. So I made that for him. And he entered it into like a little contest.
Here's Mike Jarrett right here.
Yeah, Mike Jarrett, Fox 29. Mike Jarrett's a cool guy. He came down to Stats on 17th, and I gave him my buffalo chicken meatballs. And I don't know if I can say this on camera, but his reaction was, these meatballs are so good, I got an erection.
That's memorable.
I'll never forget that.
So, man, and it's cool, man. You get a lot of people that came through and actually seen you. I mean, some people that might remember you from the street life, but actually get to see you as a chef too.
Right. People came and I cooked for them, man. Javon Pearson, he's a comedian, friends with Will Smith, friends with Jazzy Jeff. I got John Witherspoon, he passed away, I met him. Major figures, they came through, S.A. Cafe, Dutchie and Speed. I cook for them, man. And I do a lot of catering and I do a lot of stuff for the homeless, man, and the hungry. The homeless and the people that's hungry, man, because I don't think nobody in the world should be homeless or hungry.
So not just culinary, you know, you actually taught yourself graphic design as well.
Yeah, I learned graphic design in the South Woods, in the prison, man. And I do graphic design now, man. You know, it's a hell of a thing to do. You always could sell a t-shirt. You always could sell a hoodie. And I'll put, you know, verses of the Quran on shirts, or I'll put authentic statements on shirts, man. You know, that people could benefit from. Like tying your intellect to something tangible, it'll bring understanding. So that's just letting you know the intellect is powerful, man. And you can do This is my little company right here. You know, tomfoolery. Now, man, I'm trying to get my books published. I got a book called The Life and Crimes of Tom E Kash. I got a book called Serial Killers for Children. Cereal, you eat cereal. About the dangers of sugar and salt for children. And it starts with, if you never gave your child a cookie, they wouldn't want a cookie. And if you never gave your child a potato chip, they wouldn't want a potato chip. So you start them off with salt. You start them off with sugar. And when they get 50 and 60 years old, they got diabetes, they got high blood pressure, they got high cholesterol, and eventually it might kill them. So if you can protect them at an early age, at young age, they might not even indulge in sweets, candy, salt, and sugar, and you can save their lives. So I wrote a book about that. Like I said, 10 tools for temperance. For all the guys coming home, tools to help you stay home. It ain't guaranteed to work, but you follow them, you'll do better than, you know, the average person that's not following them. I got a TV show called Something Fishy on the Foodist Network. Shout out to Chef KT Murphy, you know, on the Foodist Network. I got a cookbook coming out with Amazon and Barnes Noble. So I'm shaking and moving, man. I ain't staying still. You got to keep it moving. You got to keep it flowing, man. And you got to keep, you know, positive. You got to stay focused, man. It's going to be hard, but like I said, it's opportunity out here right now, man. With these dudes coming out of prison right now, who's here to help them? See, they need help getting out of prison because you're going to resort back to what you know the best if you don't have a path to follow once you exit prison. That's why recidivism is high, and that's why people enter prison again and again and again and again.
And I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to just share your story, share your experiences with the people watching. And for the youth in particular, and even just ex-cons that's just really trying to get right. And people that don't even know that they're doing wrong. What can you say to us right now?
It's going to be a struggle, man, getting out them jails. It's hard out here now, but it's a little bit more opportunity than it was when I first got out because of this pandemic that hit us, man. They giving out a lot of money. They giving out some grants. They holding back from you having to pay bills on some things like that. So you got to take advantage of what you see. And what I did when I got out was everybody who came to the prison, like the mayor, the state senator, the councilman, and gave me their card and all that, and we're going to do this when you get out, and we're going to do that, don't worry. When I got out, I went to visit each and every one of them. I went to visit Hardy, councilman. I went to visit Cherie Street, Hawthorne, Chestnut Hill, Sandra Bullock. I went to everybody and told them, remember me? Because I remember you. You came up greater for prison. You told us you're going to help us when we got out. I'm out and I need help. So what y'all brothers need to do is connect with some folks, man, that's trying to do some positive things, man. Stay away from people, places, and things that caused you harm in the past because they'll cause you harm in the future. You got to stick to your guns. And if you Muslim, keep your face in prostration and thank Allah that you even home because everybody not going to make it. The life I lived, I'm not glorifying it or bragging about it. I'm just telling it like it is because this is the life I live. I don't want you to live this life because I spent 30 years in and out of prison. And I wouldn't want you to spend 30 years in and out of prison if you don't have to. So do what's right. Stay focused. Be patient. These are all the things that I incorporate. And I got a book out called 10 Tools for Temperance. These are tools that I use every day to help temper the things I'm going to temper my attitude. And I incorporate them in my life every day, and it seems to work for me. Did I go back to jail since I've been out? Yes, for 5 months for a parole violation. But I'm doing better. I've been home almost 10 years. And guess what? I never been home 10 years in my life since I was born. So the best thing I could tell you, man, is stay focused, man. Earn a trade and get educated because you're going to need it when you get out. Trade, education, man. Trade, education. It's going to help you eat. It's going to help you feed your family. And you should be successful, man. And I wish y'all the best.
What you know about me? 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 What you know about me?
I mean, West Philly, man. You definitely we can see the West Philly in you. We can hear it in your conversation, the way you communicate. Tell me about West Philly. Tell me about Hoop Street.
Hoop Street. I was born and raised in Hoop Street, man. I ain't saying nothing on Hoop Street but death, drugs, and degradation, man. But I gotta say, growing up, 9, 10, 11 years old, Hoop Street was wonderful. Neighbors was neighborly. They'd feed you. Your neighbor got a chance to beat you and then take you to your mom if you did something wrong and she'd beat you. No shooting, no killing, no rapes, no robberies, good music, water ice, pretzels, cheesesteaks, man. I grew up like that. This era we in now is totally different than our era. So we seeing a whole new generation change right in front of you, man. Right in front of your eyes, man. Things is changing. They say change with the times, but don't change with the times if it's not a positive change.
What you know about me? What you know about me? What you heard about me? What you heard about me? I ain't got to roll deep. I ain't got to roll deep. My army is me. My army is me. It ain't hard to find me. It ain't hard to find me. Cause I stay in these streets. Cause I stay in these streets. Better ask about me. Better ask about me. Better ask about me. Better ask